In Camden County, being prepared is more than a plan, it's a commitment. From hurricanes to unexpected emergencies, our emergency management team is always ready to respond. Behind every training exercise, every weather update, and every coordinated response are real people working tirelessly to keep our community safe. In this episode of Real People, Real Impact, we take a closer look at emergency management. You will hear about what this team is doing behind the scenes and what you should be doing the rest of this hurricane season.
Yeah, hi, I'm Chuck White, Director of Emergency Management for Camden County, Georgia. 8 years approximately. I literally came on about roughly 90 days before Hurricane Irma in 2017. So we're literally monitoring 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We've got a lot of sources out there, very sophisticated software. We're connected to a lot of alerting systems, and we're looking for anything that's going to potentially impact this community. We boil that down to thinking about community lifelines, the power grid, the water, our safety, our security, our roadways, hazardous materials, anything that can potentially on a large scale impact this community. All of those are important. One very important distinction though is to think about what we do in emergency management from a activation standpoint, right? People think, well, hurricane, you're gonna activate the EOC. It's an all of government response, our faith-based, our volunteers, and that's true. But I want you to take it to another level of an example, right? If you have an average, I don't want to say average, but when we have traffic accidents in Camden County, who's going? What's law enforcement, fire, and EMS, right? Let's assume that's a 2-vehicle accident. Let's change that scenario and say that one of those vehicles is a hazardous material tanker. That tanker is now burning. It's oxidizing and creating a dangerous plume that if inhaled or contacted, it's going to damage and hurt the public. So if that's moving towards a neighborhood, that's when emergency management is stepping up and stepping in to both communicate, to coordinate, and to start setting a larger, more complex incident command to manage to a safe conclusion the incident. We're in peak hurricane season now, right? Hurricane season will run until November 30th. And knock on wood, right? We've not been impacted here this year so far, right? But it's an opportunity to understand that it can happen and it can spool up in a span of less than a few days, right? So we stay vigilant, we work the plan, we get ourselves prepared, we have the conversation with our family, and do so while it is blue skies, and that's very important. I want to make another really important point for the public about sheltering. We are continuing to make investments, right, with the PSA. The PSA Recreation Center now has a generator, and so it becomes a more formalized shelter. But if we're calling for a legitimate evacuation of evacuation zones, we are typically not opening up a shelter inland. We're pushing people inland Georgia somewhere to another location where they can be safe, believing that you could have storm surge with the approaching hurricane and there's a lot of hazards. What the shelter does for us is give us an opportunity post-storm or where we're not technically calling for a wide-scale evacuation, but we have people that may be vulnerable or elderly or on our registry for hurricane that need a safe place to go. That's when we would typically open up a shelter. And it gives us a kind of a relief valve, if you will, that really lets us reach out and take care of the public in a meaningful way.